Marketing Edge on TV is Nigeria's leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation all in a mix, encompassing thorough and in-depth analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. My name is Bababumi Agbibi. Welcome to the program.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
We begin with brand news, where we bring you the latest developments around brands and in the field of marketing and advertising in Nigeria and around the world. Extreme Ideas, through its research and insight arm, Extreme Intelligence, has unveiled fresh findings aimed at helping alcohol brands better understand Gen Z consumers and the changing drinking culture. The session brought together marketers, strategists, creatives, and media professionals to examine behavioral patterns shaping younger consumers within the alcohol market. Speaking during the presentation, Strategy and Intelligence Lead at Extreme Ideas, Ayodeji Onabajo, said the study challenged several assumptions often linked to Gen Z audiences. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Extreme Ideas, Steve Babaiko, disclosed that some findings surprised industry players, particularly data showing stronger Gen Z preference for wine consumption. Elevate Media has launched a fully digital platform designed to simplify access to premium outdoor advertising spaces across Lagos. The new platform, ElevateMediaBookings.com, allows advertisers, media buyers, and brand managers to view billboard rates, specifications, photo galleries, and audience impression data online without intermediaries. In addition, users can instantly send inquiries through WhatsApp or email directly from the platform. The company says the platform features 7 prime billboard locations across major commercial corridors across Lagos. Interestingly, Elevate Media says its billboard network currently generates over 10 million daily impressions across Lagos. Nigeria's air freight export market could hit $5.6 billion by 2029 as digital commerce, SME exports, and diaspora demand continue driving cross-border trade growth. A new report by Topship says the sector is expanding rapidly from an estimated $3 billion recorded in 2024. Aside this, the report identifies Nigeria as one of the world's fastest growing air cargo markets, fueled largely by social commerce and tech-enabled logistics systems. The outlook also shows Africa's air cargo demand rose by over 15% in late 2025, while exports from Nigeria to African markets climbed to 4.8 trillion naira in the first half of last year.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
That was brand news. Next is branding focus after this break.
Every day, millions of Nigerians walk past your next customer. The question is, can they see you? Nimbus Media puts your brand exactly where Nigeria is already looking. High-impact digital screens inside shopping malls, supermarkets, gyms, and the busiest locations across Nigeria. From billboards to brand activations, we make sure you show up and show up boldly. We've helped brands launch, grow, and become the name people remember in the moments that matter the most. Your audience is already out there. It's time they found you. Nimbus Media. Visibility. Done right. Book your campaign today at nimbus.com.ng.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Now brand in focus. Retail media networks are changing the advertising landscape, enabling brands to leverage retailers' first-party data for precise targeting. Experts highlight that integrating in-store promotions, e-commerce placements, and social media campaigns can significantly enhance visibility and engagement. By refining data-driven strategies, they can optimize ad spend, improve targeting, and maximize return on investment. Experts emphasize that contextual and relevant content is key to capturing consumer attention. Using data insights, brands can create ads that resonate better, increasing conversions and strengthening customer relationships. Retail media networks are now more than just an advertising tool. They serve as a catalyst for driving sales, influencing purchase decisions, and ensuring brand visibility across multiple touchpoints.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Next is Industry Conversation, where we discuss with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves and have made tremendous impact in their chosen field. Today, my guest is the Chief Operating Officer, Soulcomms, Ayodeji Onabajo. Join us after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
On Industry Conversation today, my guest is the Chief Operating Officer, Soulcomms, Ayodeji Onabajo.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How would you describe the current state of Nigeria's marketing communications industry?
I'm not sure exactly where to start, but if I look at the industry at the moment, I think that there's a lot going on. I mean, I'm not trying to reminisce or go back in the days. Primarily, if I look back, maybe as far back as 2010, to maybe 15, you could count the number of agencies. But now, I mean, I hear some agency names. I'm like, okay, is this an agency? I mean, this is new. What we have right now is we have a lot of agencies, and should I say very limited clients or very limited number of accounts. And there are a lot of agencies, willing to service these clients. And, ultimately, what helps agencies really stand out, is not just the type of campaign that they can develop or the ideas that they can come up with. I think what will help agencies stand out, in this era where we have a lot of agencies is the type of campaigns that would help the clients achieve their business objectives. All right. It's not just about creating nice marketing ideas, nice marketing campaigns, good advertising or good PR. All right. It's about the performance and the value that it adds to the client's bottom line overall. And I think that that's what will help, agencies, stand out. Ultimately, I think that there's a lot of agencies out there, but, and we're all fighting to get the attention of the client. But it's about what you then do differently. It's about how you find your positioning and how you find your niche, in the market. That's what will help agencies excel, into this market.
What trends and challenges are shaping the communications and experiential marketing landscape today?
First one that comes to mind easily, AI. AI is doing a lot, so much. I watch ads now, I see that people don't want to spend a lot. I understand the economy is tight. If you look at harsh economic realities, budgets are cut and whatnot. People want to go the route of, using AI to get things done faster. In its own sense, is it good? Yes, definitely. I think AI is fantastic. What will take you normally to do weeks to do, you can do AI in hours. Sometimes you can get research, at a click of a button. I remember when I used to do research at the time, you're opening different articles, different journals just to find insight. But now AI can get that fast for you. However, if I look at the reverse side, and I'll say this as a challenge, to AI. AI is more of logic and not magic. All right. AI can still give you the best of accumulating data and whatnot, but AI still lacks the human touch. All right. If you look at today's Nigerian marketing space, for example, you have 8 regions in Nigeria. All right. You can't take one singular message from a Lagos market and transcend that to maybe a northern market or up north or east or south. All right. Not yet. AI can't give you that Nigerian accent, all right, for some type of voiceover that you need to do, all right. Although what I see it doing, all right, is that it brings some level of speed to market. So speed to market in the sense that you want to do a design mock-up for an experiential outing, for example, you can prompt AI and get the design for it versus, having to wait days for a 3D artist to come up with, something, for you. So that's the upside and downside. Another one that I would see as a trend is there's a lot of data to chew on now, and there's a need for, or there's that trend where, a lot of people are making decisions based on data now. All right, data-driven decisions. That's what I would call it. There's data at your fingertips now. You can track data. You can track data digitally. You can see, social media path, of consumers. Even you can even track shopping behavior. You can get data from, shopping centers and see how people are shopping, see how consumers are buying. And what that is doing for marketing is it is helping, brands and clients understand their audience behavior, their consumer behavior better. And ultimately, if you look at the reverse side to that, and what digitization has done and even brought with data, is there is some very strong level of audience fragmentization. All right, and audience have become fragmented. So if you look at social media, for example, you will find a different audience on Facebook, which they say is for a more older demography. All right, you come down to Instagram, Twitter, they say is for more cerebral people. All right, then Snapchat and TikTok, of course, more content driven. So what brands are having to do these days is now, you have to take data from those different platforms to even understand your audience. You can't take a straight jacket, approach to marketing again. You have to, use data to understand, your audience, and use that to even track the performance, of your campaign. I think those two for me.
There's this fast build up to the 2027 general elections. What opportunities do you see for agencies?
There's a lot. Like I said earlier, if you look at the marketing space, there's a lot of fragmentation in the agency space right now, with different people having, different specialties. For agencies now, what they need to do for 2027 election is to see how they can position themselves, not just position themselves, see how they can, deliver value to, maybe some of these aspirants, for example. If you look at advertising agencies, their forte and strength will be how to develop very strong, compelling campaigns. All right, strong messaging for, different, political parties, if you let me put it that way. If you look at the PR mix, for example, how do we build, some level of perception management, image building for candidates. There's also crisis management as well, reputation management as well. That's also there. Of course, digital has the social media space. There's a lot of data-driven insights, audience segmentation. A lot of people are on the digital space. How do they get that space? The cash cow for me, out of home, I always call this their period. Everywhere you turn, left, right, and center, you see lampposts, billboard. There's a lot of money for the media buying guys. For strategy and research, of course, is understanding consumer behavior. Getting intelligence. That drives cultural nuances, for example, things that can connect to the consumer or to the voters. If you let me put it in that sense. And for experiential marketing, of course, a lot of grassroots initiatives. There are rallies that are happening, political rallies, events, just to again showcase the candidate, or the political or aspiring political parties, if you let me put it that way. So the opportunities are there, they exist. It's just for agents to see how they can plug in to it.
So when it comes to this political space, you said earlier that you have many agencies and less clients. So would this still apply to many agencies, less clients, or more clients, less agencies? Okay, so if you put in the political space, you don't have election every year. You have election every 4 years. All right. So it's a timely affair. It's just like the World Cup, for example. It doesn't happen every single year. So politicians don't spend on marketing all the time. All right. That's the period where they start to identify. So the build up to the election, more often than not, when they get to that point, then there's that pause. But that build up is actually what is really, really important. How are they able to sell themselves, to the general public? How are they able to sell themselves, to voters? So I'll take the political space as a different market, from your regular FMCG, market, tech market. It's an industry on its own. Don't get me wrong. There are also campaigns that can be built, sustenance campaigns, even after election is done. Don't get me wrong. But then again, it comes with ups and downs. It comes with this risk. Today this person is in power. Tomorrow this person is not in power. So power shifts, and it's also very important for agencies to bear that in mind. While you can be friends and allies to one party or one particular candidate, it doesn't mean that it will be the same next year. And if you look at things, people jump parties, people move, from time to time, and it's the harsh reality of the political space that we play in, and that's the honest truth. What's your perspective of Nigeria's pitching culture?
Okay, so the pitching culture in Nigeria, subtly complex. However, this is what I would say. Pitching is good. Pitching helps, agencies, push the limit. It helps them dig deeper, helps them come up with the best ideas. Pitching also gives the client, of course, options to evaluate, different, agencies' capability, and also help them make decision ultimately on who they want to work with. All right. However, the downside to it is still how we don't have that very strong protection for intellectual property. All right. That's one. Another side to it is after agencies have put in a lot of work, in that pitching, there's no compensation, little or no compensation for it, as well. So I think that, if you look at the client side, of course, it provides options for them. But from the agency side, it presents an opportunity to also showcase, not just their experience, but what they can do, what they can deliver, as an agency.
Do you support the growing engagement of in-house agencies?
The growth of it, it's becoming a trend. A lot of people are having their in-house agencies. I think GT, for example, has his in-house marketing team. A couple of brands are also adopting it as well. I think it's it's good. It has its pros, all right, and it also has its cons. Everything has pros and cons, all right. One of the pros of it is if you look at efficiency and speed to market. So quick turnaround time. I know that agencies, as consultants, we take time. Sometimes we want to be able to dig deep. But with internal agencies, these guys understand the brand. They understand, the marketing objectives of, what the brand is trying to achieve at that point in time. You can get faster turnaround time in terms of efficiency. However, there is that con of familiarity. All right. Familiarity in the sense that you can be too close to the brand and know the brand too well that you might not be able to take some risk. And that is where external agencies as consultants, come in. All right. As agencies, we have more exposure across multi-industry. We have multi-industry exposure. All right. We're exposed to different clients, exposed to different markets. All right. For us, while we will understand your brand, we are able to propose more risk. We don't know what your budget is. We don't know what you're planning to spend. So we're able to come up with bolder ideas. We're able to take strategies that maybe we've adopted in other industries and we've seen that has worked and also adopt, back to you. So I think ultimately is how to find the right balance between using both of them. If there's the budget to afford both the internal and external, I think that it can be done. While the internal agency will bring that efficiency for you. I think that what we can do as specialized experts, again, like I said, if you know the agency space is very fragmented, is as specialized expert we can bring in some level of strategic consulting for the clients. And of course agencies always come up with bolder ideas.
You will agree with me that the industry is highly competitive, but how will Ayodeji describe a successful agency?
Okay. It's a very competitive space, no doubt. And I think it still boils down to what I said earlier about not just creating, campaigns, all right, but creating campaigns that offer value, all right. And I'm very, very big on value. And, what is value to the client? Value to the client is being able to deliver on, business objectives. But for me, if I was to take it personally, what will help, an agency stand out is, number one, we're in a digitized era. You cannot leave out the use of technology. All right. Technology is very, very critical. How are we adopting, marketing technology into the mix of what we are doing? How we, trying to understand the consumer digital space and how we use digitization to drive some of the things that we do. So number two is experience and engagement. It's not enough for us to just, create experiences. Is what is the experience, intended to do? Is it immersive enough? Is it engaging enough? All right. Does it tell the brand story? All right. Does it bring about that connection, all right? And if you look at the third part, it will be cultural relevance is also very key, and creativity as well. It's not enough to just create a campaign or or create a nice idea, all right, how is it relevant to culture? There's a saying when I went to brand school that, culture eats strategy for breakfast. No matter how nice your strategy is, when it comes in contact with culture, it's gone. All right. So how are brands then positioning themselves, or how are agencies helping brands position themselves to be, culturally relevant as well? And it doesn't have to be traditional culture. It could be youth culture. It could be youth-centric culture. So culture is wide in its own sense, and it's important that agencies help clients, connect to culture. And the last one is strategy. Of course, agencies that are able to offer very strong level of deep thinking, strong level of imagination, strong level of intelligence, to come up with ideas that can engage consumers, all right, and not just engage consumers, take the consumers through the entire brand journey, from not just getting them to feel good about the brand, but ultimately get them to convert. I think that if you look at those, I think 3 or 4 pillars I just gave, I think they are things that can help the agency stand out.
Let's take a walk through your career journey. What are some of the most memorable projects you've worked on, and why did they stand out?
I have to think about this one deeply. I've done a couple of things across FMCG, pharma, tech. Okay, I'll pick Diageo. All right. Diageo has different segments. Under the mainstream spirit, there's a brand they have called Origin. All right. Origin developed a platform called Original Night. All right. And the essence of Original Night was more of a branding culture initiative. What I really loved Original Night was, while the brand was trying to connect to the concept of tradition, if you look at Nigeria, we're very traditional people, we're very cultural people. Of course, it still tried to find, that blend of modernizing tradition, if you let me put it that way. And this was an activity that we ran across multi-city. I know that we had the grand finale in Lagos. And this is what stood out for me in this very one. We had a modern coronation, all right? And this was supposed to be a musical concert. Mayoku was supposed to be the highlight of it. And then Mayoku's nickname was Mayor of Lagos. So what we did differently was we did a coronation before his performance for him. So proper traditional coronation for Lagos. I know we had Ayo on the stage. We had 2 Ayos. We had people bring, all the entire traditional women went. We had a crown, we had a throne, everything set, and we crowned Mayor of Lagos. Then he now started performing. So I think that it was a high point, that, and it's something that I think is very memorable. When I think about it, it has that feel good experience. The second is one that I think we did very recently. One that I think is very close to me. It's called The Gathering. The Gathering is a youth-centric experience. All right. We used The Gathering to launch, MTN's youth thematic campaign called Live It 100. And what MTN wanted to do was get youth to live their lives, 100. And in this case, we curated a 100-hour non-stop. When I say non-stop, we created almost a city that doesn't sleep. All right, with youth-centric activities. The beauty of it was we didn't just suggest, because with youths of today, which happen to be the biggest market segment in Nigeria, all right, they don't want you to tell them what to do. All right, they want to do what they want to do. So what we did in creating this experiment was we were able to run some level of survey to understand the type of things that they wanted to come through and wanted to see at that event. All right, so things that came through were things surrounded around entrepreneurship, entertainment, from gaming, music, movies, games, fashion was also there. It was a full-blown 100-hour non-stop activity curated with different experiences. Of course, the beauty of it for me was the structural build to start with. We used the National Stadium. The structural build had the 100. We used tents to write the number 100. 100, and everything was connected, so you could walk through from one space to the other. If you recall, I mentioned how that is important to use technology to drive experiences. What we did was we needed to understand the pattern and consumer behavior in that very space. So we did not just give the regular risk tags, all right? When everyone registered, they got unique QR codes that formed like their ID, all right, for this event. So if you were there for 100 hours, whether you came day 1, day 2, day 3, or day 4, once you present that same QR code, it's already attached, to your name, and we have, some details about you. And what we did is we put QR codes, the same QR codes, in those places. So for every activity that you did, you scan those QR codes. What that gave, the beauty of that at the end of the day was we're able to see the different activities that people participated in. We're able to see the heat period, peak period in certain places, the best period in certain places, what's happening at every point in time. It was so interesting that we saw the most active person in that space based on the QR code usage inside that space. So that's another example how we're able to then use data, not just creating experiences, but our technology that can then create some level of data for us that of course we can use to even plan the next one. Ultimately, now we know the type of activities that people or youth like to engage in planning the next one is just to spool data from what we've done, all right, and deploy that for the next one. So I think those are two for me that I'll pick.
I've been speaking with the Chief Operating Officer, Soulcomms, Ayodeji Onabajo. The conversation continues on our website at www.marketingedge.com.ng and all our social media handles at Marketing Edge. Many thanks for watching. My name is Bababumi Agbibi.